Hello everyone, this is your friend Naruto Fix, and we are back with another epic What If Naruto fanfic. Which is, what if Naruto fell in love with Hinata but his mother had feelings too? Part 1. If you love Naruto fanfics, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the journey with me. So, let's start the fanfic. A different beginning. The world was never the same after the Fourth Great Ninja War. Konoha had survived, heroes were celebrated, and Naruto Uzumaki stood at the center of it all, not just as the child of prophecy, but as the boy who had finally earned the respect of his village. Yet, in this alternate reality, fate had chosen a slightly different path. Kushina Uzumaki, his mother, had not perished sealing the Nine Tails. Instead, she had lived, scarred, weakened, but alive. Her presence changed everything about Naruto's upbringing. He grew up not in loneliness, but with the fierce, fiery love of his mother. Still, Naruto remained Naruto, loud, reckless, optimistic, and full of dreams. Hinata Hyuga still admired him from afar, but now there was someone else always hovering close, Kushina, watching, protecting, guiding, and, as the years unfolded, feeling something she could never admit. The training grounds. The sun dipped low, painting the training grounds golden. Naruto wiped the sweat off his forehead after another round of sparring. Hinata stood opposite him, breathing heavily, Byakugan fading as she relaxed her stance. "Why, you've improved, Naruto-kun," Hinata whispered, cheeks tinted red as always. Naruto grinned, scratching the back of his head. "Hey, really, I feel like I'm still all over the place." Kushina, sitting cross-legged at the side, watched intently. Her long red hair swayed gently in the wind as she smiled at her son's energy. But her eyes flickered briefly, noticing Hinata's gaze, the way it lingered, tender and shy. Naruto charged forward suddenly, surprising Hinata with his usual unpredictable energy. She blocked, stumbled, and he caught her by the wrist before she fell. Their faces ended up close, too close. Hinata's heart thumped wildly. Naruto-kun." Naruto blinked, then smiled brightly, pulling her up. "You okay? You've gotten strong, Hinata." From the sidelines, Kushina's smile faltered for the briefest moment. Something in her chest twisted. She brushed it off quickly. He was her son, and Hinata was a sweet girl. This was normal, perfectly normal, yet the unease lingered. Dinner at home. Later that evening, Kushina insisted Hinata stay for dinner. Their small home was filled with the smell of miso soup and grilled fish. Naruto dug in enthusiastically, while Hinata sat politely, hands folded on her lap. "So, Hinata-chan," Kushina began, voice warm but carrying her usual teasing tone, "you train with my knucklehead almost every evening now, huh? Spending a lot of time together, aren't you?" Hinata flushed deep crimson, nearly choking on her rice. We're just tea training, Kushina-sama." Naruto laughed. "Yeah, Mom, don't tease her like that." Quote. Kushina smirked but her gaze softened. She noticed how Naruto naturally defended Hinata, how comfortable they seemed together. And in Hinata's shy eyes, she saw devotion, something unconditional, something powerful. Kushina should have felt relieved. Happy, even. Her son, once hated and alone, now loved. But instead, a quiet ache crept into her chest. She looked at Naruto, at the man he was becoming, and for a fleeting moment, she forgot she was supposed to be only his mother. Midnight thoughts. That night, Kushina couldn't sleep. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling as memories swirled. Minato, the life they had shared, the sacrifice they had made. But now, Minato was gone, and she was left with Naruto, their son, her pride, her joy. She had poured everything into raising him, protecting him, loving him, but had she blurred the lines? Somewhere along the way, the bond had deepened into something dangerous. Something she dared not name. Kushina sat up, clutching her chest. "No, he's my son. That's all he is. That's all he can ever be." And yet, when she remembered the way Naruto had smiled at Hinata, her heart clenched. Not with jealousy, she told herself, but with fear. Fear of losing the one person who had kept her world from collapsing. Hinata's confession. Days passed. Hinata's courage grew. She had trained hard, grown stronger, and with Naruto's constant encouragement, she felt ready to take the leap. One quiet afternoon, under the shade of a large tree, she finally spoke. Naruto-kun, I've admired you for so long. You're strong, and kind, and you never give up. I love you. Naruto froze. The words hit him harder than any Rasengan ever could. His mouth opened, then closed. His heart raced. Hinata looked down, trembling, certain she had ruined everything. But then, Naruto smiled. Hinata, I don't know what to say. You're amazing. I think I really like you too. Quote. Hinata's eyes widened, tears brimming as joy overflowed. For the first time, the gap between them closed. Hidden in the distance, Kushina watched. Her nails dug into her palms as she forced herself to stay still, to breathe. She should be happy. She should be proud. But instead, her chest burned. The sight of them together felt like a knife. Torn hearts. That evening, Kushina sat at the kitchen table, staring at the untouched tea. Naruto burst in, face flushed with excitement. Mom, Hinata, she confessed to me. And I think we're gonna try being together. His voice was so full of happiness, so full of hope, that Kushina's carefully constructed mask almost shattered. She forced a smile. That's wonderful, Naruto, she said softly. Naruto hugged her tightly. Thanks, Mom. You've always been there for me. I want you to meet her family soon, you know. I want them to know how amazing she is. Quote. Kushina hugged him back, hiding her trembling hands. She couldn't let him see. Couldn't let anyone see. When Naruto finally left the room, Kushina whispered into the silence. Why does it hurt to lose him to her? Quote. Part 1 cliffhanger. Naruto's love story with Hinata had finally begun, pure and innocent. But Kushina, his mother, struggled with emotions she could neither control nor confess. Her heart was torn between the duty of a mother and the forbidden feelings of a woman who had lost too much and clung too tightly. And this was only the beginning. 9/26, 10 a.m., Vivavat, the first date. Naruto had never been on a date before. The idea was almost foreign to him. He had battled gods, saved the village, trained harder than anyone, but sitting nervously in front of Hinata at Ichiraku Amen. That was the scariest mission yet. So, Hinata? Naruto began, fumbling with his chopsticks. Do you, want extra toppings? I can pay today. Hinata giggled softly, her shyness melting in the warmth of his clumsy charm. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Just the regular is fine. Chuki chuckled from behind the counter. Looks like the future Hokage finally brought a lady here. Took you long enough, Naruto. Naruto blushed furiously while Hinata's face turned scarlet. Despite the teasing, the air between them was comfortable, sweet in a way neither had experienced before. But outside, a shadow lingered. Kushina stood across the street, watching. She had followed without meaning to, telling herself she only wanted to check if they were safe. Quote. Naruto's laughter reached her ears, and something inside her broke a little more. He was so alive, so happy. And though she should have been overjoyed, the gnawing emptiness in her own heart only deepened. Motherly advice, or something more. Later that night, Naruto came home, his face glowing brighter than the moon itself. Kushina was waiting, pretending to fold laundry. So, she asked, forcing cheer into her voice. How was it? Naruto flopped onto the couch. It was awesome, Mom. Hinata's amazing. She listens to me, she believes in me, I think I really like her. Kushina smiled softly, but her hands tightened around the cloth she was holding. That's good, Naruto. A girl who supports you like that is rare. Don't take her for granted. Naruto looked up, grinning. You think so too? Hey, I knew you'd understand. You're the best, Mom. The words should have warmed her heart. Instead, they sliced at her. Best, Mom. That was all she was allowed to be. But as Naruto drifted off to sleep, Kushina whispered to the empty room. Why does it feel like I'm losing you, Naruto? Hinata and Kushina meet. A few days later, Hinata worked up the courage to visit Naruto's house with a small box of sweets. Kushina opened the door, her smile practiced and polite. Kushina-sama, Hinata greeted with a bow. I brought this for you, as thanks, for always looking after Naruto-kun. Kushina accepted the box, her fingers brushing Hinata's. The younger girl flushed red instantly, bowing again. You're very kind, Hinata-chan, Kushina said warmly, though inside she felt the sting of being replaced. This gentle, pure-hearted girl was slipping into Naruto's world, into the space Kushina had occupied alone for so long. They sat together briefly. Hinata spoke softly, praising Naruto's growth, his kindness, his strength. Kushina listened, nodding, but each word twisted deeper. Hinata adored Naruto, just as much as she herself did, though in a way Kushina could never claim. When Naruto finally bounded into the room, Hinata's face lit up instantly. Kushina saw it, and for the first time, she realized, Hinata's love was something she could never compete with. And yet, some part of her still wanted to. The festival night. The village festival arrived, lights glowing and music filling the streets. Naruto insisted on taking Hinata. Come on, Hinata. It'll be fun, games, food, fireworks. Kushina tagged along at first, telling herself she only wanted to keep an eye on them. But as she watched Naruto win a small stuffed fox at one of the stalls and proudly hand it to Hinata, her chest ached. The way Hinata's eyes sparkled, the way Naruto blushed when their hands brushed, it was everything Kushina should have wanted for her son. Instead, she felt like an outsider looking in, her place slipping away. Later, as fireworks burst across the night sky, Naruto and Hinata stood side by side, shoulders touching. Naruto whispered something that made Hinata laugh softly, her hand brushing his. From the shadows, Kushina's breath caught. She had never felt so alone. A slip of emotion. Back home, Kushina couldn't hold it in. Naruto was still buzzing with excitement, talking endlessly about Hinata, about how perfect she was. Finally, Kushina snapped. Don't forget who's always been here for you, Naruto. She blurted out, louder than she meant to. Naruto froze, wide-eyed. Mom, what do you mean? Kushina's heart pounded. She had said too much. Quickly, she forced a laugh, waving her hands. I just mean, don't get so caught up you forget your old mom, you know. Hey, Naruto blinked, then smiled sheepishly. Mom, I could never forget you. You're the most important person in my life. Kushina smiled back, but the words twisted like a knife. Most important person. Yes, but only as his mother. Never more. That night, as Naruto slept peacefully, Kushina sat awake again, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. Why do I feel this way? Am I that selfish, to want more than a mother should? Part 1 Closing Scene. Naruto's love with Hinata was blossoming, pure and unstoppable. He was happy, and that happiness should have been enough. But for Kushina, it wasn't. Her love for her son, once pure and maternal, was shifting, turning into something forbidden, something dangerous. And as she watched him slip further into Hinata's arms, Kushina realized she was standing at the edge of a precipice. One wrong step, and she could lose everything, her son's trust, his love, his future. Yet her heart whispered relentlessly, I can't let him go. 9/26, 10:01 a.m., Vivavit, meeting the Hyuga clan. Naruto's palms were sweating. He had fought countless battles, but this was different, this was Hinata's father. Hiashi Hyuga's stern eyes scanned him from head to toe as they sat in the Hyuga compound. Hinata sat nervously beside Naruto, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. So, Hiashi began, voice cold, you are the boy my daughter has chosen. Naruto swallowed. Why yes, sir, I care about Hinata a lot. She's strong, and kind, and, I'll never let her down. Hinata's cheeks glowed, her heart swelling at his words. Hiashi's expression softened ever so slightly. We shall see. My daughter's happiness is not given lightly. But, I acknowledge your spirit, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto exhaled in relief. Hinata smiled shyly, feeling proud. But at the back of the room, Kushina stood silently. She had come along for support, but watching Naruto defend his feelings so openly made her chest tighten. His words, his devotion, were meant for another woman now. Not her. Hinata and Kushina alone. Later that evening, Kushina walked Hinata home. The streets were quiet, lanterns glowing faintly. Kushina-sama, Hinata said softly, thank you, for everything. If not for you, Naruto-kun wouldn't be the person he is today. Kushina smiled faintly. You love him a lot, don't you? Hinata blushed furiously, but nodded. More than anything. He's my light, the reason I became stronger. Quote. Those words stabbed deep. Kushina forced a smile, but inside she was screaming. I was his light. I raised him. I gave him everything. For a split second, her mask cracked. Her eyes softened in a way that made Hinata hesitate, almost as if Kushina was about to say something forbidden. But then, just as quickly, Kushina shook it off. Take care of him, Hinata-chan, she said. He deserves to be happy. Hinata bowed, grateful, but as she walked away, Kushina remained in the street, trembling. The words had felt like surrender, but her heart refused to accept it. The breaking point. That night, Naruto returned home late. Kushina was waiting, her emotions boiling over. You didn't even tell me where you were going, she said sharply. Naruto blinked. Mom, I was just walking Hinata home. It wasn't a big deal. Not a big deal. Kushina's voice cracked. You're all I have, Naruto. Do you even understand what that means? Naruto stepped back, shocked. Mom, why are you acting like this? Kushina's chest heaved. The words she had buried for so long clawed at her throat. For one terrifying instant, she wanted to scream the truth, because I love you too much, because I can't let you go. But she bit it back, tears spilling down her cheeks instead. I just don't want to lose you. Not to anyone. Naruto's eyes softened. He stepped forward and hugged her tightly. You'll never lose me, Mom. You're my family. No matter what, you're always number one in my heart. Kushina clung to him desperately, her tears soaking his shirt. He didn't understand. He couldn't understand. And that was the cruelest part. Part 1 ending. Naruto's bond with Hinata grew stronger each day, innocent and full of hope. But Kushina's hidden feelings, dark, forbidden, and unspoken, only grew heavier, threatening to consume her. As fireworks of love blossomed for Naruto and Hinata, Kushina stood in the shadows, battling a storm inside her own heart. And deep down, a dangerous truth echoed. One day, she might not be able to hold back anymore. 9/26, 10:02 a.m., Vivavat, morning in Konoha. Naruto stretched wide as the morning sun poured into his room. Today's gonna be awesome, he said, bounding out of bed. Kushina was already in the kitchen, apron tied around her waist. She turned with her usual fiery smile. Breakfast is ready, you sleepyhead. You'll never become Hokage if you keep waking up late. Naruto grinned sheepishly, scratching the back of his head. Hey, sorry, Mom. Guess Hinata's training tired me out. The mention of Hinata made Kushina pause for a fraction of a second. She masked it with a smirk, ladling hot miso soup into a bowl. Training, huh? Or was it a date? Quote. Naruto flushed. Mom, don't say it like that. Kushina chuckled, but inside her chest tightened. Even the casual way his voice softened when talking about Hinata was enough to sting. A day with Hinata. Later, Naruto met Hinata near the training grounds. They had planned to spar, but instead they found themselves sitting by the river, watching the water flow. Naruto leaned back, hands behind his head. You know, Hinata, it's weird. For so long, I never thought anyone really noticed me. But you always did, huh? Hinata's cheeks burned. Why yes, you inspired me, Naruto-kun. Even when everyone else looked away, you kept moving forward. I wanted to be like you. Naruto turned to look at her, really look at her, and for once he didn't laugh it off. He reached out and gently held her hand. Thanks, Hinata. You don't know how much that means. Quote. Hinata's heart soared. For a moment, the world was just the two of them. But from afar, Kushina watched, hidden behind the trees. She had followed again, unable to stop herself. The sight of their joined hands sent a pang through her chest so sharp she had to grip the bark beside her to steady H. Ursulf, why do I feel like I'm disappearing from his heart? Hinata's gift. A week later, Hinata brought Naruto a small scarf she had knitted herself. It's not much, but I thought it would keep you warm, Naruto-kun, she said, holding it out nervously. Naruto's eyes widened. He grinned ear to ear. Hinata, this is awesome. No one's ever made me something like this before. He quickly wrapped it around his neck, laughing. Look, it's perfect. Hinata beamed, happiness lighting her face. Kushina, watching from the doorway, felt her stomach churn. She had been the one to cook for him, to mend his torn clothes, to care for him all his life. Now Hinata was stepping into that role so naturally, so effortlessly. That night, Kushina stared at the scarf hanging neatly by the door. She reached out, fingers brushing the soft fabric. She pressed it to her cheek, eyes closing as tears slipped free. It should have been me, she whispered. A small argument. Naruto came home late one evening after spending hours with Hinata. Kushina was waiting. You're late, she said sharply. Naruto blinked. Sorry, Mom. Hinata wanted to train a bit longer, and then we grabbed some food. Food? I cooked dinner. Kushina snapped before she could stop herself. Naruto frowned. Mom, I didn't mean. Kushina slammed the pot lid shut, her hands trembling. You don't have to explain. I get it, she's more important now. Naruto's eyes widened. That's not true. You'll always be important to me. You're my mom. The word mom hit harder than any kunai. Kushina forced a smile, waving him off. Forget it. Just eat while it's still warm. Naruto hesitated, guilt flashing across his face. But he obeyed, not realizing that behind Kushina's smile, her heart was breaking. Hinata's visit. The next day, Hinata visited again. She bowed politely to Kushina, holding a basket of fresh vegetables from the Hyuga gardens. I thought, maybe I could help cook dinner tonight, Hinata offered shyly. Naruto's face lit up. That'd be awesome. Quote, Kushina froze. Cooking had always been her domain, her way of showing love. And now Hinata was stepping into even that. Sure, Kushina said tightly, handing Hinata a knife. As they cooked together, Kushina found herself studying Hinata, the gentle way she moved, the care she put into every smile. Task. She was everything Naruto deserved. And yet, Kushina's chest burned with jealousy. When dinner was served, Naruto devoured it happily. Hinata, this is amazing. You're the best. Hinata blushed furiously, while Kushina forced herself to swallow the lump in her throat. Night of tears. That night, when the house was quiet, Kushina slipped into Naruto's room. He was asleep, scarf still wrapped around his neck. She sat beside his bed, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. He stirred slightly but didn't wake. Kushina's hand lingered on his cheek, her heart aching. You'll never understand, Naruto, how much I love you, she whispered, tears falling silently. For a fleeting moment, she leaned closer, her lips hovering near his forehead, but at the last second, she pulled. Led back, clutching her chest in anguish. No, I can't, I'm your mother. She fled the room, sobbing into the darkness, the war inside her heart growing louder with each passing day. 9/26, 10:03 a.m., Vivavat. Training with Team 8. Naruto decided to join Hinata during one of her team's practices with Kiba and Shino. Kushina, curious but also protective, followed from a distance. Naruto sparred alongside Hinata, and their teamwork was seamless. When Kiba lunged, Naruto's clone blocked while Hinata's gentle fist struck with precision. Shino observed quietly, impressed. Your synergy is remarkable, he commented afterward. Hinata flushed, glancing shyly at Naruto. He laughed. Hey, guess we make a good team, huh? From the shadows, Kushina's nails dug into her palms. Seeing them fight in harmony, almost like husband and wife already, sent a pang through her chest. She fits into his world so easily, where does that leave me? A visit to Ichiraku. That evening, Naruto brought Hinata to Ichiraku again. They laughed over steaming bowls of ramen, Naruto exaggerating his stories while Hinata giggled softly. Kushina walked by outside, intending only to pass through, but she froze when she heard Hinata's laugh, soft, melodic, the kind of sound that belonged to a woman in love. Naruto leaned closer to Hinata, wiping a bit of broth from her lip with a napkin. Hinata blushed furiously, her heart racing. Kushina's breath hitched. She turned away quickly, pressing a hand to her mouth as tears stung her eyes. That should have been me, sharing meals with him, laughing with him, being his closest one. Hinata helps at home. A few days later, Hinata came by to help clean the Uzumaki household. Naruto was away on a mission, leaving Hinata and Kushina alone. At first, the atmosphere was polite. Hinata worked diligently, folding laundry, wiping tables, her gentle presence filling the house. Kushina watched silently. Finally, Hinata spoke. "Kushina-sama, I truly admire the way you raised Naruto-kun. He's strong because of you. I'll do my best to support him too." The words were kind, but to Kushina they felt like a dagger. Support him too. He already has me, doesn't he? She forced a smile. That's very noble of you, Hinata-chan. But don't think it's easy. Naruto needs someone who understands every part of him. His strength, his weakness, his loneliness. Quote, Hinata lowered her eyes. I believe I do. Because I've felt lonely too. The gazes met for a tense moment. Neither said more, but an unspoken rivalry shimmered between them, subtle, yet undeniable. Naruto's return. When Naruto came home later that day, he found both women waiting. Hinata rushed to greet him with a warm smile, while Kushina stood in the background, forcing composure. Naruto grinned, holding up a bag of dango. "I brought snacks. Let's all eat together." They sat, three around the small table. Naruto chatted happily, oblivious to the tension between the two most important women in his life. Hinata's gaze was tender, full of love. Kushina's gaze was heavy, filled with something darker. Naruto noticed none of it. The festival revisited. Another festival approached, and this time, Naruto insisted Kushina join him and Hinata. "It'll be fun, Mom. We'll all go together." Kushina agreed, though part of her dreaded it. The streets were alive with music and lanterns. Naruto ran ahead, dragging Hinata by the hand, laughing. Kushina followed behind, watching their intertwined fingers. Every laugh from Naruto, every blush from Hinata, made the ache in her heart grow sharper. At one stall, Naruto tried, and failed, to win Hinata a prize. Kushina stepped up, fierce determination blazing. With one perfect throw, she landed the prize easily, a small, delicate charm. Naruto cheered. "Wow, Mom, you're amazing." Kushina handed the charm to Hinata, smiling tightly. "Here, for you." Hinata's eyes widened. Thank you, Kushina-sama." But Kushina's eyes lingered on Naruto as she said it. "Why do I feel like I'm handing him away piece by piece?" The storm inside. That night, Kushina sat alone on the porch, staring at the stars. She remembered holding Naruto as a baby, his tiny fists gripping her finger. She remembered his first steps, his first laugh, the countless nights she stayed awake protecting him. She had given her entire heart to him. And now, Hinata was taking him away. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She clutched her chest, whispering into the night. "I can't do this, I can't let him go, not to her, not to anyone." The forbidden truth loomed larger with every passing day. Kushina wasn't just afraid of losing her son. She was afraid because she wanted him in ways she could never admit. 9/26, 10:04 a.m., Vivavat, the first touch. A few days after the festival, Naruto and Hinata were walking home through a quiet path lined with cherry blossoms. Naruto reached for a falling petal, but Hinata's hand brushed against his. The contact lingered longer than expected. Both froze. "En Naruto-kun," Hinata whispered, cheeks aflame. Naruto's heart raced. Hinata, your hand, it's cold." Before either of them realized it, their fingers intertwined naturally. The world seemed to shrink around them. Birds chirped, leaves rustled, and the evening sun bathed them in gold. From the shadows, Kushina stood, hidden behind a tree. Her breath caught in her throat as she watched. Their hands, together, like that. Her heart constricted violently. Part of her wanted to run away, but another part ached to step forward, to touch him herself. She clenched her fists. No, I can't, I'm his mother. I mustn't. A shared ramen night. Later that week, Naruto and Hinata had a quiet ramen night at Naruto's home. Kushina had made the meal, carefully preparing Naruto's favorite toppings. Naruto dug in happily. Mom, this is amazing. You always make the best food. Hinata smiled shyly, eyes sparkling. Yes, it smells wonderful, Kushina-sama. Kushina's lips tightened as she watched them. Every glance Hinata gave Naruto made her stomach twist. Every shy smile, every soft word, it all belonged to Naruto, but somehow, it felt like it was replacing her role. Naruto laughed, wiping broth from his lips. Hey, I don't deserve you to. Kushina forced a smile, but her hands trembled. That simple laugh, that warmth in his voice, it belonged to her. Night confessions internal. That night, Kushina couldn't sleep. She sat by the window, moonlight spilling over her face. She remembered Naruto as a baby, as a boy, as a young ninja, and realized she had always loved him more than she could admit. Not just as a mother. Her heart thudded painfully. She thought of Hinata, soft and pure, loved by Naruto. She knew she should feel relief, pride, but instead, jealousy and longing consumed her. She whispered to the empty room, how did it come to this? I raised you, I protected you, and still, I want you, for myself. A small accident. The next day, Naruto invited Hinata over to help train him with a new jutsu. Kushina stayed in the house, folding laundry. Naruto and Hinata practiced outside, their movements synchronized, almost intimate. Hinata stumbled at one point, and Naruto caught her by the waist. Careful, Hinata, he said, holding her close. From the window, Kushina's breath hitched. Her body felt like it was on fire, and she gripped the windowsill until her knuckles whitened. I shouldn't be feeling this, she thought. I'm her mother, my son, not mine to want like this. Tears blurred her vision, but she refused to look away. She couldn't. The conflicted mother. That evening, Kushina tried to speak to Naruto, but her voice faltered. Naruto, I just want you to be careful with your heart. Naruto frowned. What do you mean, Mom? She looked away. Nothing, I just care about you. Always. Her words sounded innocent, maternal, but in her chest, a storm raged. She wanted more than innocence. She wanted him for herself, though she would never say it aloud. Naruto, oblivious, hugged her tightly. I know, Mom, you'll always be my number one, no matter what. And Kushina almost broke. 9/26, 10:05 a.m., Vivavat, late evening confession. The village was quiet as Naruto returned from a mission. Kushina was waiting for him at home, sitting in the living room with a cup of tea. Naruto, you're back early, she said softly, voice unusually gentle. Naruto smiled, dropping his bag. Yeah, mission went well. I couldn't wait to tell you about it. Kushina's heart skipped as she watched him. The way his hair fell into his eyes, the way he laughed with excitement, every little gesture made her chest ache in a way it shouldn't. Sit, she said softly. I want to hear everything. As he recounted the mission, Kushina found herself inching closer, just a little too close. Her hand accidentally brushed against his shoulder, and he looked at her with that warm, trusting smile. You're always looking out for me, Mom, Naruto said sincerely. I don't know what I'd do without you. Kushina's breath hitched. That word, Mom, sounded like a chain holding her heart in place, and yet part of her wanted him to call her something else, to feel her differently. The moment alone. Later, Naruto excused himself to rest. Kushina remained in the room, staring at him as he stretched on the couch. Her heart was pounding. She knelt beside him, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. You're really grown up, Naruto, she whispered, voice trembling. He turned slightly, sleepy eyes meeting hers. Thanks, Mom. Her hand lingered. Her heart ached with desire and guilt all at once. She had to resist, but the sight of him, so innocent, so unaware, made it almost impossible. For one terrifying moment, she leaned closer, almost brushing her lips against his forehead. But she pulled back abruptly, clutching her chest, gasping softly. No, this isn't right, he's my son. Hinata's unexpected arrival. Before Kushina could recover, a soft knock came at the door. Hinata entered shyly, holding a small bouquet of flowers. I wanted to bring these for Naruto-kun, she said, bowing politely. Kushina felt a pang of jealousy so sharp it made her stomach twist. She forced a polite smile. How thoughtful of you, Hinata-chan. Thank you. Naruto jumped up, grinning. Hinata, you didn't have to. Hinata blushed, handing the flowers to him. I just wanted to make you happy. Kushina's hands trembled slightly as she watched them together. The way Hinata leaned in, the softness in her voice, everything Kushina had dreamed of being with Naruto, Hinata was now giving. Forbidden thoughts. That night, Kushina sat alone in her room, the moonlight casting shadows across her face. She replayed the evening in her mind, Naruto's laughter, his smile, the way Hinata's presence had sent her heart into chaos. She whispered into the darkness. I can't stop thinking about you, Naruto, I shouldn't, I can't, but I want you. Tears fell silently. Her love had transformed, what was once maternal now twisted into something forbidden, something intoxicating. And yet, she could not bring herself to act. Not yet. Accidental intimacy. The next day, Naruto returned from training, exhausted. Kushina had prepared a bath for him. Come on, Naruto. You need to rest, she said, smiling softly. As he entered, he slipped slightly on the wet floor. Kushina instinctively caught him, holding him close to steady him. Their bodies pressed together for a brief moment. Mom, Naruto murmured, feeling the warmth of her embrace. Kushina's heart raced violently. This is wrong, she thought, yet the sensation made her chest ache with longing. She pulled back slightly, flushing, while Naruto remained oblivious to the tension. Night confession attempt. That night, Kushina couldn't resist watching Naruto sleep. His peaceful expression, his steady breathing, it made her ache. She knelt beside him, whispering softly. Naruto, if only you knew. Her lips brushed his forehead briefly, an intimate, lingering touch. A shiver ran through her own body at the forbidden action. Naruto stirred slightly, murmuring in his sleep, but did not wake. Kushina pulled back, heart racing, knowing she had crossed a line she could never truly return from. I love him, but I can't, I won't. 9/26, 10:07 a.m., Vivavat. A morning full of tension. The next morning, the sun filtered through the curtains, painting Naruto's room in a warm golden light. Naruto was already up, stretching and yawning, oblivious to the tension building downstairs. Kushina was in the kitchen, making breakfast. Her movements were careful, almost ritualistic. Each chop of the knife, each stir of the pot, carried the weight of her emotions. She had watched Naruto grow from a small boy to the man he was now, but now her heart ached in a way it had never ached before. She thought of Hinata, sweet, gentle, devoted, everything Naruto seemed to need, and everything she herself could never be for him in the way her heart secretly longed. Naruto bounded into the kitchen, face bright. Good morning, Mom. Smells amazing. Kushina smiled, but the act of smiling felt like a mask. Good morning, Naruto. Eat while it's hot. As he reached for a bowl, his shoulder brushed hers. The touch was fleeting, accidental, but Kushina's heart raced uncontrollably. She stepped back slightly, just enough to compose herself. Why does this simple brush of skin feel like fire? A walk in the village. Later, Naruto and Hinata decided to walk through the village, enjoying a rare day off. Kushina, unable to stop herself, followed at a discreet distance. Naruto laughed freely with Hinata, telling stories about his early missions, the pranks he had pulled as a child, and the friends he had made along the way. Hinata giggled softly at his antics, eyes shining with adoration. Kushina's chest tightened. She had spent years nurturing Naruto, protecting him, teaching him, loving him, and now Hinata was filling the spaces Kushina once thought only she could occupy. When Naruto reached out to adjust a strand of hair falling over Hinata's face, Kushina felt her knees weaken. He's mine, isn't he? He should only ever look at me like that. But she stayed back, hidden, choking down her forbidden desires. Cooking together. Back at the Uzumaki house, Kushina attempted to channel her emotions into action. She suggested that she and Hinata cook dinner together while Naruto took a short rest. Hinata's innocent smile and soft voice grated at Kushina's heart. Every movement Hinata made, careful, precise, attentive, reminded Kushina that this girl had wormed her way into the most intimate parts of Naruto's life. Kushina forced herself to teach Hinata the subtle ways Naruto liked his meals prepared. "Make sure the miso isn't too salty," she said, voice steady despite her inner turmoil. Hinata nodded eagerly. "I will, Kushina-sama. I want Naruto-kun to enjoy every bite." Kushina's breath caught. "Every bite, he'll enjoy it more with her than with me." The dinner was finally ready. Naruto returned, smiling from ear to ear. "Wow, did you two make this?" "Yes," Kushina said, her voice soft, almost trembling. Together, Naruto beamed, oblivious to the undercurrent between the two women. "This is the best. You're both amazing." Kushina forced herself to smile, but inside her chest felt hollow. The forbidden evening. That night, Kushina found herself watching Naruto sleep again, as she often did. The moonlight spilled across his face, highlighting the softness she had loved since he was a baby. Her heart ached. She wanted to reach out, to hold him close in a way that went beyond motherly affection, but she could not, she must not. Yet the longing burned inside her like a wildfire, consuming reason. She brushed a hand against his hair, then against his cheek, lingering far longer than was appropriate. Her lips hovered over his forehead again, tempted to press against him, just for a heartbeat. Her heart thundered. "I love him, more than I should, more than anyone should." She pulled back, clutching her chest, gasping softly. Her secret desire was dangerous, consuming, and yet undeniable. Hinata's arrival and subtle jealousy. Before Kushina could regain control, Hinata knocked softly at the door. "Naruto-kun, can I come in?" Kushina stiffened, forcing a polite smile. "Of course, Hinata-chan." Hinata entered, holding a small box of sweets she had made. I thought Naruto-kun might like these." Naruto's face lit up. "Hinata, you didn't have to." Kushina's hands trembled slightly as she watched Naruto accept the sweets, eyes sparkling with joy. Every laugh, every soft word, every small smile from Hinata felt like a dagger in Kushina's heart. She forced a laugh. "How kind of you, Hinata-chan. Naruto's lucky to have you." Hinata smiled shyly, unaware of the storm raging within Kushina. Accidental intimacy. A few days later, Naruto returned home after an exhausting training session. Kushina had prepared a bath for him, making sure the water was just the right temperature. Naruto stepped in but slipped on the wet floor. Kushina instinctively caught him, holding him close. Their bodies pressed together for a brief moment. "Mom," Naruto murmured, feeling her warmth. Her heart raced. She could feel his pulse, his heat, and for a fleeting second, she imagined holding him closer, in ways she knew were forbidden. She pulled back abruptly, heart hammering, trying to steady her breath. "I just wanted to make sure you were safe." Naruto, oblivious to her inner struggle, nodded and smiled. "Thanks, Mom." Kushina's hands trembled as she stepped away, realizing the line she was dangerously close to crossing. Emotional cliffhanger. As Naruto's love for Hinata deepened and their romance flourished, Kushina's forbidden feelings grew stronger, more consuming. Every glance, every touch, every shared laugh between Naruto and Hinata was a painful reminder of her own desire, a desire she could never admit, yet could never ignore. And as the nights grew longer, Kushina realized with terrifying clarity. Sooner or later, I may not be able to hide this anymore, and when that day comes, everything, our love, our family, our hearts, will shatter. 9/26, 10:09 a.m., Vivavat, a quiet evening alone. The evening air was cool as Naruto returned home after training. The streets of Konoha were quiet, lanterns flickering faintly along the paths. Kushina waited inside, her heart pounding in anticipation and fear. Naruto flopped onto the couch, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Mom, I'm exhausted," he sighed, stretching his arms. Kushina stepped closer, instinctively brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. The touch lingered far longer than necessary, and Naruto tilted his head slightly, noticing the unusual softness in her eyes. "You've been pushing yourself too hard," she said, her voice trembling slightly, betraying the emotional storm within her. Naruto smiled faintly. "I've got to keep getting stronger, for everyone, and for Hinata." Quote. The mention of Hinata made Kushina's chest tighten painfully. Her fingers itched to reach out, to hold him closer, but she forced herself to step back. Her heart ached, yet desire burned like wildfire in her veins. "I shouldn't want him this way, I'm his mother, but I can't stop." Bath time incident. Later that night, Kushina had prepared Naruto's bath, as she often did when he returned exhausted from training. The warm steam filled the room, scented with herbs Kushina had carefully chosen. Naruto stepped in, but slipped slightly on the wet floor. Instinctively, Kushina caught him, their bodies pressing together. Heat radiated between them, and Kushina felt a shiver she had no right to feel. "Mom," Naruto murmured, sensing her closeness, but oblivious to her internal struggle. Her heart raced, every nerve on fire. She wanted to hold him there, just a little longer, feel the warmth of him pressed against her, but she pulled back abruptly, gasping softly. "I just wanted to make sure you didn't fall," she said, voice trembling. Naruto smiled faintly, still unaware. "Thanks, Mom." Hinata's innocence. The following day, Hinata visited with a shy smile, bringing small handmade pastries for Naruto. Kushina's chest constricted the moment she saw Hinata's face light up as Naruto accepted the gift with glee. Naruto beamed. "Hinata, you didn't have to." Kushina's hands trembled slightly. Every soft word, every blush, every shy glance from Hinata felt like a knife twisting in her heart. She forced a polite smile. "Yes, very thoughtful of you, Hinata-chan," she said softly. "Naruto's lucky to have someone like you caring for him." Hinata blushed deeply, oblivious to the storm within Kushina. Her soft, gentle presence made Naruto's life warmer, but it also made Kushina's suppressed desires burn ever brighter. Private thoughts. That night, Kushina sat alone by the window, the moonlight spilling across her face. Her hand unconsciously brushed a locket she always wore, a gift Naruto had given her when he was a child. He didn't remember, of course. She whispered into the silence. "I love you, more than I should, more than I can bear, but I can't, I won't, yet I can't stop thinking about you." Her pulse raced. She had crossed invisible boundaries in her mind, imagining moments that were forbidden, intimate, romantic, scenes that should never exist between mother and son. But the desire was undeniable. It throbbed in her chest like a relentless drum, consuming her rational thoughts. "How can I love you like this, and still be your mother?" Another close encounter. A few days later, Naruto returned from a mission, tired and sweating. Kushina had prepared a small tray of tea and snacks for him. As he reached for the cup, their hands brushed. The contact lingered, almost electric. Naruto noticed, glancing up at her. "You're always looking out for me, Mom," he said sincerely. Her heart thundered. "Mom, he calls me that, but in my heart, I am aching for more." Kushina swallowed hard. She wanted to pull him closer, to hold him, to whisper forbidden words into his ear, but she forced herself to smile. "Yes, I'll always look out for you, Naruto," she said softly, her voice trembling with unspoken desire. Naruto smiled, completely unaware of the storm within her. Emotional cliffhanger. Naruto's love for Hinata continued to blossom, innocent and pure, filled with laughter, shared meals, and quiet evenings. Yet Kushina's hidden passion, forbidden and consuming, grew stronger with each passing day. Every accidental touch, every soft word, every intimate glance brought her closer to the edge. She realized, with terrifying clarity, that the next time her restraint slipped, there might be no turning back. One day, I may act on this desire, and when that day comes, everything will shatter, Naruto, Hinata, our family, our hearts, all of it. 9/26, 10:10 a.m., Vivavat, the quiet night. The village of Konoha was silent, the stars shimmering softly above the Uzumaki residence. Naruto slept soundly, exhaustion from his mission and training etched into his relaxed face. The scarf Hinata had knitted for him still rested around his neck, a symbol of innocent, blooming love. But in the living room, Kushina sat alone, her hands clutching the edge of the table, trembling. She could still feel the warmth of Naruto's skin from earlier in the evening, the accidental brushes, the closeness, the subtle touches that had ignited feelings in her she could never confess. She closed her eyes and whispered into the night. "You're mine, aren't you? Or at least, I wish you were." The words were barely audible, lost in the quiet. But the weight of them crushed her from the inside. She had fought this feeling for years, buried it deep, convinced that being a good mother meant suppressing everything. Yet now, as Naruto's affection for Hinata grew, she realized the truth. Her love was no longer just maternal. It had become dangerous, forbidden, and unstoppable. Hinata's innocence and Naruto's oblivion. Earlier that day, Hinata had come over again, bringing flowers and pastries for Naruto. Her eyes sparkled with affection, and her voice was soft, filled with devotion. Naruto had accepted everything with his usual enthusiasm, oblivious to the tension in the room. Kushina had watched from the corner, every nerve on fire. She forced herself to smile, to speak politely, to be kind, but inside, her heart was screaming. Every laugh, every blush from Hinata, every moment Naruto leaned toward her filled Kushina with equal parts jealousy, longing, and despair. She realized she was losing him, not to anyone who didn't deserve him, but to someone who shouldn't replace the bond they had. Hinata, she's wonderful, but he's mine, mine in ways no one can ever understand. The forbidden desire. That night, Kushina couldn't resist watching Naruto sleep one last time before she went to her room. Moonlight painted his face, highlighting the innocence and trust that made her desire so dangerous. She knelt beside him, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. Her hand lingered, trailing softly over his cheek. Her lips hovered near his forehead again, a heartbeat away from crossing the line she had feared her entire life. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She whispered, barely audible, "I love you, more than I should, more than anyone should, but I can't, I mustn't, not yet." Her heart ached with the weight of her forbidden desire. She pressed a hand to her chest, feeling it pound violently, knowing that every day that passed made the eventual breaking point closer and closer. Part 1 Emotional cliffhanger. Naruto and Hinata's love had grown, tender and pure. The bond between them shimmered like sunlight over water, innocent and bright. But Kushina's hidden passion, burning, forbidden, uncontrollable, had reached a fever pitch. She had glimpsed, touched, and imagined things she could never act on, yet the desire refused to fade. Every shared glance between Naruto and Hinata was a dagger to her heart. Every laugh, every blush, every moment of closeness pulled her further into the dangerous storm of her own longing. She realized with terrifying clarity, one day, I may not be able to hold it back, and when that day comes, everything, Naruto, Hinata, me, our family, will shatter. Nothing will ever be the same. The night stretched on, silent, heavy with unspoken words, forbidden desires, and a tension that could not be undone. Part 1 ends here, leaving Naruto's innocence, Hinata's devotion, and Kushina's forbidden longing poised on the edge of a storm that will change everything. If you enjoy this fanfic then please like and subscribe my channel Narutofix 11 for more fanfic. Thank you.